Quick question. Which article or video will rank better on Google? 1, the best quality article, or 2, the one with the highest keyword density and number of backlinks? It's simpler than you think. Keep watching for the answer. If it's your first time here, I'm Jonathon Kendall, founder of Virtual Worker Now and Sonic Solutions. My marketing systems have done over $100 million, and I have over 400 employees all over the world. We're going to talk about SEO and the nonsense myth that it's just a numbers game. But first, hit subscribe and push the bell notification. On this channel, we share actionable, tactical business advice that will help you scale, but we keep it interesting by using lessons from philosophy, history, literature, and of course, books. With that said, let's dive in. If you're like most business owners, you probably think SEO is all about gaming the system and throwing a bunch of numbers at Google, but that's not how it works. If you want your article or your video to rank, you need to understand that the algorithm is not stupid. Google is way smarter than you think, and it will always find the article or the video that actually answers the person's query. It doesn't matter how many keywords you stuffed in your article if it's full of fluff. Simply put, it will not rank. In the early 2000s, before Google became the monster of search engines, the algorithm admittedly wasn't that smart. There were a few steps that you could take to optimize your website and rank well on Google's back then little-known search engine. Keywords, backlinks, loading speed, alternative text, domain names. At the time, these ideas were transformational, although they often led to the wrong answer. 20 years ago, if you had asked Google, what does down the rabbit hole mean? It would have given you an article about the diameter and the depths of the average rabbit hole in nature, which is not the answer you were looking for. Why? Because Google couldn't understand your question. It only saw the word rabbit hole, and then it would automatically redirect you to an article that mentioned this phrase many times and had like 50 backlinks to other articles about rabbit. The quality of the backlinks mattered as well. If the article was backlinking to a CNN article or Encyclopedia Britannica, it would naturally rank higher than a link to joesrabbitblog.com. But in the real world, no matter how hard the algorithm tried, if you, as a user of Google, ended up unsatisfied with your experience because it gave you the wrong answer, you might try Bing or Yahoo, losing Google business. And Google couldn't have that. So what did they do? They improved the algorithm. Therefore, today, Google's algorithm is much more advanced. If you ask the same question, Google will send you an article explaining that the term down the rabbit hole is a reference to Alice in Wonderland and means going much, potentially even existentially so, much deeper into a topic than normal. The algorithm understands your question, and it's therefore going to give you the best answer available on the internet. At least it's going to try. This changes everything for content creators who used to spend tiring hours trying to trick the system for a few years, thinking that SEO was a game, and there were ways to trick the algorithm into ranking your article, and there were. You could put the keywords in the headlines, you could repeat long tail phrases as many times as possible, you could backlink to your own fluff other posts about other backlinks as you comment on that Huffington Post article. Some of these ideas aren't inherently bad still to this day and can still be useful, but they won't help if your article absolutely sucks. If it's irrelevant, poorly structured, unhelpful, or grammatically incorrect, it will not rank. If it doesn't give your customer the actual honest to God answer they want, you will lose. Today's AI is reading and scraping everything on the internet all the time. It's much more intent-based, and it's constantly collecting data about its customers, which are you. If you ask Google, what is the best pizza? It's not going to give you a list of all the best pizza in the world. It will know if you're on vacation in Paris and recommend the best pizza within 10 miles of where you're staying. And if you're vegan, it knows that too. That's how advanced it is. It's mind-blowing. And granted, I'm not a computer scientist, so I'm not going to claim that I understand how all this, but I do know for a fact that the answer that's always going to win is the best answer. So you need to understand that Google has one goal: to answer your question or solve your problem as quickly as possible. If it doesn't, then you'll quickly move on to a search engine that will help, which means they will lose business, which means they're not going to let you game the system. So why is it so wrong to do SEO the old way? Beyond the fact that it's not going to work and you're wasting your time, you're trying to compete with the fundamental laws of the universe. If a business wins, it's because it has the best product or service relative to the price for its customer. If someone wins a gold medal, it's because they're the fastest or the strongest, not because they paid off the judge or they got some unfair advantage. If you have a question there, and I can answer your question better than anyone in the world, I will absolutely win over someone else that played the SEO game and got all the backlinks, but they don't have the best answer. This is how the universe works, and it's how it's supposed to. Cheaters should not win. Best should win. We live in a meritocracy. But that begs the question, what is the alternative? How should you approach SEO and content creation instead of stuffing keywords and obsessing over backlinks? The answer is to approach creating a piece of content like you're teaching someone you love and assuming that the stakes are very high for them to learn it. Imagine teaching your child to conduct themselves in a public restaurant or how basic equations work in math. If it's your child, you're going to teach them in the best way that you can, and you'd want to be efficient so you won't waste their time. The stakes are high because if your kid misbehaves in a public place, people will dislike them, and if they can't figure out how to add and subtract, they're not going to be set up for adult life. If you're teaching your child, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how frustrating it is, or how long it takes you, you're going to be patient and you're going to do your best. This is exactly how you should approach content. Don't think of people as walking dollar signs. Don't try to manipulate them into clicking on your link or buying your shitty product that they probably shouldn't buy. That's not how the universe works. In a previous lesson, I talked about the best ways to decrease churn. And not a surprise, the best way to reduce churn is to have the best product. Notice the pattern? Similarly, in this context, your online content, that blog article or your new video or even that Facebook post, these are your products. As an example, my wife and I moved to Puerto Rico because there are a lot of tax advantages to living there. But there's a series of things that we have to do to get these advantages, like hire locals, have an office locally, and live in Puerto Rico at least 6 months out of the year. These are the rules of the Puerto Rico universe. And yet, even knowing the rules, many people try to game the system. They want to get the tax benefit without having to actually live in Puerto Rico. So one day I was talking to my lawyer and he said, imagine getting audited by the IRS, okay? They're going to know if you owe a lot of money because you didn't really live there. Why? Because they're not idiots. The IRS is going to know if you have another house in Colorado, and they're going to ask why your daughter is going to school in New York if you live in Puerto Rico most of the year. The only way to get the Puerto Rico tax benefits is actually live in Puerto Rico. You can't trick the IRS, and you can't trick the universe, and you can't trick Google into ranking your article. If your blog post answers the question, what's the best pizza in Brooklyn, and you want to rank high, you need to answer this question in the best way you possibly can. Ask yourself, if I add an image here, will it improve the ability of someone to understand the answer? Great. What if I add a video here? Will it improve their ability to understand the answer? Perfect. What if I divide the post into steps? What if I add bullet points to make it easier for people to scan? If you do all of this with intention to improve your content and make it more valuable for the user, the answer is going to win. In business, as in life, and on Google, the only way to win is to do the right thing over and over and over and over and over again, especially when other people won't. So here's the punchline. If you're still using the same SEO tax that you were using 10 years ago, you're already dead. The SEO landscape has changed so much in the past decade that the old ways of doing things are no longer effective. And yet, there are still plenty of businesses out there that cling to these outdated methods, thinking that they'll be able to trick the universe and get people to read their article or watch their video. That just simply is not good enough. So wake up and smell the reality. The only way to win in business is to be the best. A few SEO tricks won't help you if you don't know what you're talking about. So I hope that helped. And of course, as always, if you want my help with your business, you have 3 options. If you're not sure what you need, schedule a call with me at jonathankendall.com and we'll figure it out together. If you need full or part-time staffing, go to Virtual Worker now. We have social media specialists, video editors, graphic designers, copywriters, executive assistants, VAs, accountants, web developers, etc. If you prefer done-for-you services, go to sonicsolutions.io. We do lead generation, funnel building, email marketing, social media, SEO, and LinkedIn marketing. Links are in the description. Either way, talk soon.